Hi, welcome back to Wolfmix 101, looking at the Wolfmix W1 DMX controller and the simple, easy 2-minute lessons on how to program it. Okay, we're moving into the effects racks on this lesson, the first one being the colour effects. So if we take a look at the controller and the visualizer, the easiest way for me to show you this is with the par cans that are up at the top of the screen. And what we'll do is, you've probably found out that the encoders that are on the top of the Wolfmix, if I press them, it takes the dimmer down and we'll just be left with the par cans. Okay then, when we go into color effects, you press it, you get the color effects screen. These buttons then at the top activate each rack, and the rack that each group. The group we want to activate is the par cans, and you can see if I do that, the colours that are on at the moment on the next set of buttons are all the colours you can select. The colours that are on at the moment, which are brighter than the other buttons, is orange and purple. So we'll turn that off and we'll go for red, green and blue. It's a classic colour effect, and you can see on the first part it's a rainbow and it's fading between them. We've got some phase on that, so we'll turn that off. And you can now see the par cans all changing colour at the same time. You've got a rainbow effect, a sparkly effect, you can get them to run from side to side, and there's kind of a disco-y effect. The rainbow that flashes, sparkle effect that flashes, a rainbow that fades through, and kind of the Knight Rider effect. What we'll do is we'll go back to the rainbow effect so that you can see what's happening. The next part down from selecting the effects across there is how you affect the colour change. So the first one is the speed, and you can turn that up and make it flash really fast, and you can turn it down and make it flash really slow. That's an internal clock on the unit. Put it back to 50%. That's an internal clock on the unit that sets the speed. The next way you can set it is if you're using Ableton or OS2, Rekordbox or Serato, and if you click that button there, it will then take the beat or the BPM straight out of your software, feed it into the box. You'll see the BPM come up there, and then you can select whether you want it to flash every beat. This is at 120 at the moment. Every 2 beats you want it to change, every 4 beats, and every 8, just by moving the encoder. Or you can tap the BPM with this BPM tap, and we should be able to get around about 130 by doing it like that. Unfortunately, about the BPM of my favourite genre. Right, the next way is you click the same encoder again for the speed, and that will then work on the internal mic, and you can see if I tap it, it changes on the flash from there. What I'm going to do is put it back to speed just to make things easier on the internal clock, and then we look at the next knob, which is the phase. The phase means that as you've got the lights flashing, or at the moment fading, they're fading all together. If I knock it out of phase by 10%, 20%, you'll be able to see that the first light over here is slightly behind that one, is slightly behind that one, is slightly behind that one, and so on. However many lights you've got in that group that we've activated, group C on the rack, that the internal clock works out how many lights are on the group and how much phasing or how much delay it has to put in. You can also change, by clicking the phase button, the order in which they flash. So we can have them changing. Just take the phase off so that you can see this. We can have them changing all at once. They'll be going from the middle from the outside, and it's the order in which where the phase starts. The other one is the fade. At the moment it's on 100% fade. This button isn't used on the colour rack. And on the fade, if I turn the fade away, you'll see it'll be more of a flash than a fade as it changes colour. It's more of a jerk than a slow fade to each colour. And depending on the situation, the type of music you're playing, depends on how you set your colour effects up. That's just a colour effect. Once you've got that set up, you can then go back to the home screen. You can activate those colour effects on, if I turn the dimmers up again, I can activate those colour effects on the moving heads at the bottom, the moving heads at the top, colour matrix that's in the middle, or the last group of lights is the park hands. Or we can turn them all or as little on as we want. There you go, that's a colour effects rack, and I will see you in the next lesson.